Time now for everybody's favorite guessing game, What's My Line? Brought to you by Remington Rand, makers of the world's #1 electric shaver, the Remington. Now, let's all play What's My Line?
Now let's meet our award-winning What's My Line panel. First, the popular columnist whose voice of Broadway appears in papers from coast to coast, Miss Dorothy Kilgallen.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. And now, a very popular young man who will be doing the summer circuit all over the country beginning June in Binghamton, New York, in a revue called What's the Rush? Mr. Robert Q. Lewis.
The whistles are because Dorothy's hair is a beautiful, beautiful red color. Hi, Red. To my left this evening, once again, the lovely Hollywood columnist, and I'm delighted to say that all's well with the world, because the Mad Hatter is wearing her hat. Miss Hedda Hopper.
And on my left, the distinguished Irish sports writer and the moderator of What's My Line in England, Mr. Eamon Andrews.
My hat. Well, when I said last time I was on, the only other time 2 weeks ago, that our moderator had the most polished seat in the business, I did not mean you to send your old suits along to him because he is well heeled. Thank you very much. But here he is, John Charles Daly.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to What's My Line. For the panel, good news. We don't have to put on the blindfolds right at the beginning, but we do trust that we'll blind them to some of the facts of some occupations which are coming up pretty soon, all of them attached to some nice people. We'll also have our mystery celebrity before the panel a little bit later in the show, and we'll meet our first challenger in just 30 seconds.
Hey, I just bought the greatest gift for my dad for Father's Day. It's the world's only 2-in-1 shaver, the Remington Auto Home Shaver. Plug it into your car's cigarette lighter socket and shave wherever you go. Or use it every morning at home. It works on both home and car voltage to give Dad cleaner, more comfortable shaves. That's the Remington Auto Home Shaver. I hope I get one for graduation.
And now let's meet our first challenger. Will you come in and sign in, please? Nat? Ladenson, is that right? There we are, Mr. Ladenson. I don't want it. You want this piece of chalk? You can have it. I don't think you want it either, though, do you? You tell us where you're from, sir.
London, England.
Turn now this way. Let's see if we can find the camera. That's the camera that's looking at you right over there. Where are you from?
London, England.
London, England. Well, how nice to have you with us. You know, we have Eamon Andrews with us, so that this will make you both feel a bit at home, what? Take a good look at the panel. Hold yourself steady now. Come with me. All right, here we go. You'll sit down here with me. I must ask you, since you come from London, do you know how we score this operation?
Yes, I think I know.
Oh, fine. If you understand the scoring, then let's let the people at home and our friends here in the theater know exactly what your line is. Panel, Mr. Ladenson is self-employed. With that, let's let Eamon Andrews begin with our London guest.
Thank you. I wish I'd met you before, Mr. Ladenson. I don't think we have met, but don't answer that in case you say, no, which is true. Self-employed, you must be self-employed to be able to afford to come to the States now anyway. Has your work at all got to do with anything artistic?
No.
One
Nothing.
down and 9 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
But would you consider yourself as occupying a white-collar job?
No.
2 down and 8 to go, Mr. Lewis.
Do you render a service, Mr. Ladenson?
Yes.
Is this a service? I haven't been in London. I say, I haven't been in London in some years. And,
It sounds like it, yes.
Does anyone in our country do pretty nearly the same thing you do in London?
Yes.
Ah. Is your service performed for members of both sexes?
Yes.
Equally?
You know, possible.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, I should
Possible,
hope
yes.
so. Do the people have to come to you?
Sometimes, yes.
Yes, I'd
Sometime.
say
Yes.
sometimes, yes, and
Yes.
sometimes Mr. Laytonson might go to them.
Ah. Well, then you certainly do not work in, unless it's very portable, an office of any type. You don't work in any office
No.
or any building. Your work might take you out of doors as well as indoors, perhaps?
I would think so, yes.
Yes.
Yes. Ah. Well, now.
Now you know.
Now I know exactly what you do. You work out of doors and indoors. I pass to Hedda. I want to think about this.
All right, Miss Hopper.
Would we recognize the sort of building that you occupy when you work indoors?
No.
Would we recognize the sort of building that you occupy when you work indoors? You mean, would it have some special identification factor involved in it?
Do you do anything for the
No,
British
let's
government?
go back to the question you asked a bit ago. What is
I
it?
mean, have we a counterpart of the building that you would work indoors in London, in America?
Well, there is an assumption of error here which I'm afraid requires that we give you a no answer. So that'll be 3 down and 7 to go, Mr. Andrews.
Well, I'm still wishing that we had met in London, Mr. Layton.
So do I.
Yes. This is non-artistic and a service. Now, when you've given this service, does the person who benefits from the service look better as a result of it?
No, I wouldn't.
No, I wouldn't say that.
No. We hope not, anyway. 4 down and 6 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
Mr. Laytonson, you've said you don't occupy a white-collar job. Would we be helped in learning your occupation if you appear dressed as you appear when you're working?
Small conference. It's a very difficult question, Dorothy. It's to be presumed that Mr. Laytonson will not, for instance, perform his labors in his present blue suit. But this is not to say that necessarily there is a strong identification factor in what he would wear.
Well, I'd be helped a great deal. Would you like to tell me what he'd wear, and I'll tell you if I could
No.
be helped by it?
No, not No, actually, I just say that he would wear clothes other than he's wearing now, but they would not necessarily reveal anything to you if you were to walk out here dressed in them. That's all.
Would they cover you more or less entirely? I mean, do you
I
wear-
should hope so, Mom.
I mean, is it something larger than a bathing suit that you wear?
I think so.
Yes.
I think so.
Do you wear trousers?
You wear trousers?
I should hope so.
Yes.
Not so funny. You know, he could wear robes of some type, you know.
A draft team.
Do you wear any kind of a collar?
No.
That makes it 5 down and 5 to go, Mr. Lewis. I'm going to give you 1 minute since you don't seem to
Trousers,
be
but
even
no
close
collar.
to us.
Well, now, we have agreed that your work probably takes you about from place to place. Would it do that?
Yes. Yes.
This service that you render, am I right in assuming that it is more perhaps physical than mental?
Well, I'd say both.
It's both, but I
Both,
would
yes.
suggest more.
But there is an
physical
element
than
of
mental.
both in this
Yes.
type work.
But more physical than mental.
More physical than mental.
Mhm.
When you, there is no identifying characteristic physically, obviously, costume-wise. Is there any kind of training whatsoever necessary for what you do?
Not under the terms of
No.
reference that we use on this program.
No
steps
training?
to go. 6 down and 4 to go. Miss Harper, do you want to take a shot at it?
Do the people feel better for having received your services?
I think they do.
Well, in a very general way.
Yes.
In a very general way. But the minute is up, and you've not come close to it, so I'm going to flip all the cards for Mr. Ladenson. And Mr. Andrews may well have met him because he is a London taxi driver. Yes,
Oh,
sir.
dear. Oh, you
Could we have a
certainly fooled us.
description of the costume now?
Think of what...
He wears,
London
you know,
taxi driver
trousers
coming
and a
over here
leather
for a
jacket
No
and
collar?
a sweater. Wears a sweater of some kind.
I could wear this uniform.
He could wear this, but he just doesn't happen to, that's all. This is why I
If you
tried to
wore
get
that
you
suit,
off
they'd
the
ask you
costuming
for a tip.
altogether. Beg your pardon, Mr. Andrews?
If he wore that suit, they'd ask him for a tip when they get out a discount.
They'd ask him for a tip,
Yeah.
that's
That's why I
right.
don't wear it.
Yes.
One thing I think that will hearten all of our colleagues on the panel, except perhaps Mr. Andrews, is that Mr. Ladenson says as bad as traffic is here in New York, it's worse in London. And who knows better than a taxi
John,
driver?
I was just going to say, you said no special training. Believe me, our hackies here in New York need special training to drive in this traffic, and they need it just as much over in London, I think.
And they
All right,
need
Mr.
more in
Ladenson, you have
Hollywood.
special training. Nice to have had you with us, sir. All right, panel, let's see what you can do with the second challenger. Will you come in and sign in, please? Carolyn Taylor, is that right? And is it Miss or Mrs.?
It's Miss.
Miss Taylor?
Miss.
Must be,
Still.
where are you from?
Portland, Oregon.
Portland, Oregon. Well, how nice to have somebody from Oregon, all the way from Oregon.
Can we examine the prospect more?
No, you just leave things as they do. Will you take a look at the panel? That's enough. You come down and sit next to me. There, you know, a few prerogatives I have that I must say make this a very pleasant job.
Thank you.
You know how we score this operation,
Yes,
Miss
I
Taylor? All righty, then let's let the folks at home and those with us here in the theater know exactly what your line is. Panel, Miss Taylor is salaried. With that, let's begin the general questioning with Robert Q. Lewis. Get your mind on your work, Robert. Come on.
Comfy? Oh, no. Are you, do you render a service, Miss Taylor?
Yes, I do.
May I call you Carolyn?
You may. I'd be very pleased.
Thank you. Is your service perhaps rendered more for the benefit of one sex than another?
Yes.
Men, I trust?
You're right, yes.
Would these people feel better after they had been
Usually.
usually? I see. Could I avail? When may I make an appointment? Or could I avail myself of yours?
No, I'm sorry.
No.
Oh, that's disgraceful.
No, you could not, in the specific case of Miss Taylor, avail yourself of her services. Miss Hopper.
Well, from the amount of applause you received, I imagine this is a sticker.
I beg your pardon. What did you say?
I imagine this is a sticker question.
A sticker.
A
Oh, yes.
sticker question. Yes. Well, do you work indoors,
Yes.
outdoors?
Rarely.
Rarely. Oh. Do you have to have any special training for your work?
Yes.
Do you have to have a college education for your work?
Yes.
Do you help people mentally?
Yes.
In your work, do you ever have to lay on hands?
Yes.
Oh, you do, and you work with gentlemen only. Why, you lucky girl. Mr. Lewis wants your phone number. Would you mind giving it to her, please? Well, I'm going to pass. The Irishman's got you now.
Mr. Andrews?
The Irishman's only got you very temporarily. Carolyn, but I've been looking at Robert Lewis to see what it was he didn't need that you have that he could have from you that he doesn't want, you know.
You sound like Joan Daly.
But I see he's got glasses and he's got hair, very fine hair. I'm just wondering if it's a service people would feel better, but the feel better presumably is only as a result of whatever you've done accidentally or otherwise. Do you have anything at all to do with something above the neck on the case of the man that you deal with?
Not only, no.
Not only?
Sometimes.
Oh, but you do have, so it's got to do with everything. This sounds like Joey Lewis in Las Vegas I was telling you about. I see. Now, when you give this service to the men who avail of the service, are they in a perpendicular position?
Yes, occasionally.
Occasionally. When they get this service, do they stay as they are when they come into you? I mean, as Robert is with this lovely suit and bow tie and everything. Do they have to change their clothes?
Sometimes.
Oh, sometimes.
Usually.
Do you use an implement at all in administering this service?
Yes.
You do. Is this implement worked by electricity?
No.
No. Goodbye.
Small, just a moment, small conference.
Oh, lovely. Well, it could be, but it's electricity.
Electricity. They use electricity for osteopathy sometimes.
They do.
Mr. Andrews, we want to be fair. I think that
Thank you.
it is necessary to admit that it's possible that there might be an implement that is operated by electricity involved in some of the service that is performed.
Thank you. Wait next week and see what happened. I know. But do you work in or about or in connection with a hospital?
Yes.
Oh, dear. I see. Well, Hedda and I were having a conversation, and we thought of a big word which Hedda knows the meaning of, I don't, and we thought of the word osteopath.
Are you osteopath?
No.
No.
No,
Two down
she's
and
not
eight
an
to go, Miss
osteopath.
Kilgallen.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Did the required college training that you had, Caroline, if I may call you Caroline, finish with a degree other than Bachelor of Arts or Bachelor of Sciences? Did you go further than that in college?
Yes.
Do you have a title other than Miss?
Yes.
Are you a doctor?
Yes.
Yes. And actually,
Very
it's
good.
even more than that. I'm going to throw all the cards over
Doctor
because
for
it was...
chaps
No, actually, it's
Oh.
Captain Dr. Caroline,
of the armed
Captain
forces?
of the Armed Forces, U.S. Army Doctor. That's right. In just a moment, we'll meet tonight's mystery guest, but first, a message from Remington Rand.
Car wash. 1 minute. Well, I guess I can spare that. Old bus needs it after the trip I've made.
Aren't you getting out, sir?
No, I'll stay right here. I've got a little cleaning job to do, too. Boy, have I ever. What a beard. Lucky to have this auto home shaver. Remington did a great thing when they made him. Sure shaves clean and fast. They ought to sell millions of them, one for every guy with a car. Boy, look at that beard go. Like Dick Stark says on TV, man size.
How about this guy? Shaving in his car.
All the comforts of home.
How's he do it?
He's got one of them new Remington Auto home shavers. Changes your home voltage to whatever your car's got.
Pretty nifty. Plugs right into the cigarette lighter socket.
There we are. Clean as a whistle. You know, this modern world's pretty great. I just got a clean car and a clean shave, all in 1 minute.
This is the Remington Auto Home Electric Shaver, the ideal gift for Grad or Dad. It changes from home voltage to car voltage with the flick of the switch. Works equally well on either voltage. Pick one up on the 15-day trial, which begins the day you give him his gift. And look here, any old standard make electric shaver is worth a giant $8.50 trade-in allowance. Get his Remington Auto Home Shaver tomorrow.
Now we come to the special feature of our program, the appearance of our mystery celebrity, for which my colleagues on the panel are blindfolded, and the blindfolds are all in place, are they, panel?
Yes.
Yes.
Good. Will you
Yes.
come in and sign in, please? As you know, in the case of our mystery celebrity, we go to a different form of questioning. You ask one question at a time in turn, moving clockwise, and we begin it all with Dorothy Kilgallen.
Is what you do fun?
Yes.
Mr. Lewis?
Oh. Are you in the entertainment world?
Yes.
Miss Hopper?
I presume you're a lady.
Yes.
Mr. Andrews?
Instantly recognizable, but a growing applause when you signed your name, so that you are more often known by name rather than by sight.
No.
1 down and 9 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
Are there more than one of you?
Yes.
Mr. Lewis?
Did she say yes?
Yes.
Do you work together?
Yes.
Miss Hopper?
You?
No, Hedda, darling.
Oh, me. Oh, I'm so sorry. I beg your pardon. Has the male member of the duet just finished a very important picture in Hollywood?
No.
2 down and 8 to go, Mr. Andrews.
No, he hasn't just finished an important picture. Well, male and female, you established that without guessing. That's wonderful. Is either one of you the yes or the yes appearing at the moment in New York?
No.
3 down and 7 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
Do you do anything besides act? Do you sing or dance?
Yes.
Mr. Lewis?
Do you work together and you sing, or do you have a regularly scheduled television program?
Yes.
Miss Hopper?
I didn't hear. Did they say yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
They said yes.
Yes.
And they worked together.
That's been elicited, yes.
It couldn't be George and Gracie.
No, that's 4 down and 6 to go, Mr. Andrews.
Well, in that case, may I ask, are you married?
I think so.
That's Miss Kilgallen.
To each other.
Yes.
Mr. Lewis?
Happily. No. You have a regularly scheduled show. Am I right in assuming that the female of the duo was the singer? Now, may I ask, in addition to that, was the male of the duo known at one time as a band leader?
Is it possible?
Miss Hopper?
Did they answer yes to that?
Yes,
Yes.
it is possible. That's
Oh,
fine.
is it possible? And the band leader, and she's the singer. Oh, I'm way off base.
Oh, my.
Oh, I'm way off base. No, I pass to you, Mr. Irishman.
Well, thank you very much, Miss Hopper. This is very kind of you. I thought it was Eddie Fisher and Debbie Reynolds for a minute, but I don't think he ever had a band, had he? Well, don't answer that, no. Does this, the one who is possible to be a band leader, do you appear currently on either a television or a radio series as a band leader?
No.
5 down and 5 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
I'm in Pittsburgh. It's all yours, Bob.
I think I've got it. I don't. I'll take a flyer. Ozzie and Harriet?
I believe last night on Perry Como's show you sang again and Ozzie led a band again. So he recently has been leading bands, but on their own program, which, by the way, is one of the prides and joy of my home network, ABC. It's a family show and one of the finest in the country.
Thank you,
Wonderful to
John.
have you all.
Thank you very
Good
much.
to see
Great
you.
fun. Thanks very much.
All right. Panel, we have just about 3 minutes. Let's see if you can face up to another challenger and get it real quickly. Will you come in and sign in, please, sir? Peter, Andretti. Is that right, sir? Where are you from, Mr. Andretti, New York? Beg your pardon?
Brooklyn, New York.
Mr. Andretti is from Brooklyn, New York. Will you come with me, sir, and sit down here? Do you know how we score? Yes, sir. Good. On that basis, let's let the folks at home, those here with us, know exactly what your line is. All right. Panel, you have about 2 minutes. Let's see how quickly you can work. Mr. Andretti is salaried. We'll begin with Hedda Hopper.
Do you deal in services?
Yes.
Do you service both men and women?
Yes.
Do you work for a non-profit organization?
No.
1 down and 9 to go, Mr. Andrews.
You are probably a London taxi driver who's both a controlling interest in CBS over here or something. Just come over. You look very healthy and very well. Do you work out of doors?
Yes, I do.
You do. And this service that you give, does it involve touching the people you give it to?
No.
2 down and 8 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
Does it involve touching anything?
Yes.
Is there a product involved in what you do?
3 down and 7 to go, Mr. Lewis.
People come to you to have this service. Do they feel happier after they've
They do.
been through whatever it is?
In almost all cases.
In almost all cases. In almost all cases. Am I right in assuming that there is no special training required for your job?
There is.
No, well, not in our terms of reference, Mr. Andretti.
That's
We're
right,
speaking of graduate work. No.
In other words, with a little instruction, any one of us could do what you do.
Yes.
And I'm open for any suggestions, sir, if your employer has need of another. However, your work then is more physical than mental. Would you consider it more physical than mental?
Yes.
And you said you do not touch the people that come to you. Men and women come to you. Do children ever avail themselves of your service?
Yes.
And you work out in the open. Is there anything in amusement to do with what you do?
Yes.
Do you wear any other outfit than what you are now wearing in your work?
I do.
Is it a uniform of any kind?
Yes.
Wow. Are you in charge of, do you work for a profit-making organization as opposed to a non-profit-making
Robert, I'm so sorry.
Ah.
Time has run out. What were you working toward, just for fun?
I don't know quite, but I know that it must be some kind of an amusement park or something.
Well,
of
you
that
were
kind.
close. Mr. Andretti operates a roller coaster at Coney Island. Steeplechase Park. Thank you, sir. I'm sorry we didn't have more time. We can't have you in. Good night. And now, before the panel says good night, here is a word from next week's sponsor.
If your deodorant stick isn't doing the trick, why string along with it? Why cut yourself off from half the protection you need? Time you got a line on the big new Stop It stick. Here's two-way protection that not only stops odor, but checks perspiration itself. Added so clean and refreshing to use as a stick cologne. Why don't you change to
Big new Stop It stick?
Well, it's very nice to have had you back again with us, Miss Hopper and Mr. Andrews, and always Robert Q. Lewis. To get the record straight, Bennett Cerf is still in Europe. Miss Arlene has been on the coast, but she'll be back with us next week. And so till next week, this is John Daly saying good night, Miss Dorothy Kilgallen.
Good night, John. Good night, Bob. Come again soon.
Thank you, Dorothy. Good night. Next week, Paul Winchell and Jerry Mahoney will be sitting in this seat. Good night, Hedda.
Good night, John, and I thank Arlene for giving me this hot seat, and I've enjoyed it so much. But I'll be glad when she's back next Sunday.
Even hotter now. And apart from the memory of Hedda's hats, I will remember with pleasure my visit from here with John and all here. And it's good night to you, John, and thank you for having me with you. Bye-bye.
Thank you for being with us. Eamon and Peter Lawford will be in your chair next week. Nice to have had everybody with us. Thanks for being with us on What's My Line?
Travel arrangements on What's My Line are made through American Airlines. American Airlines flies our contestants in luxurious comfort aboard DC-7 flagship. This has been a Mark Goodson, Bill Trotman production in association with the CBS Television Network. Be sure to watch Remington Rand's other television program, Caesar's Hour, on another network.